So this would be the review, quick review for week 3. Again, my second attempt. The first one did not load. I was on a different computer because mine broke and it didn't have the right settings, blah, 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 whatever. So I will try to maybe give a condensed version of this. I'll back up a little weird. Of what we should have gleaned from week 3, which was last week. The focus was on being first. We did review being big and being fast as well then, and went into being first as a strategy. And then we also looked at what Porter referred to as his first, at least attempt to describe competitive advantage through the value chain. So let's just take a first look at the strategy notions that we're going through from Reeves. And I do want to point out that there is no one best fit. Now, of course, you want to take the one that the industry seems to align with the most, but it likely is going to be some type of a hybrid. It is going to be purposeful. And even though if it's the fast or the first, which tend to move more quickly and rapidly than, say, the traditional model, certainly it's going to have some type of structure or scaffolding and documentation. But if we look at the last one we looked at, which was chapter 4, I believe, in Reeves, on being first, it's really looking at industries where you can shape the industry and predict it relatively easily, and so you want to be first. You want to be you want to be creating, or where we had mentioned malleable. We want to be able to create the demand. So we're going to be first to the market, and some innovation, some insight that we've gleaned from our research, our gut instincts, our experiences that we think we can leverage. We believe that there is a competitive advantage there that is sustainable, at least in the near future. Remember, when we think about this strategy specifically, there is no long-term strategy. It is a strategy as long as being first works, and then you might have to kind of hybrid that into being fast, and it's probably a combination of those two. But it's this disruptive innovation that we've talked about in industries where there's opportunity, market opportunity, strategic windows. This might not be the worst thing to be thinking about, because if you're in an industry that is easily shaped by the competitors and is pretty predictable, and you use the classical model, you could be missing strategically through your planning some opportunities, and or you might be missing value, more importantly, which is profitability. So that was one of our main discussion points, and then we moved on to Porter and looked a little bit regarding the value chain. And what is the value chain? It's looking at all the opportunities from beginning to end that we can add value to our product or service, which again would be profitability, and that's part of what he believes is a strategy. It's an implemented part of the strategy. Remember, we said that strategy is as only good as the implementation, and so the value chain is a bit of a tactic objective, but it's a deliberate attempt to find value in all things that are part of the organizational structure, internally and externally, upstream and downstream. We did tend to focus a little bit more of those things because there's evidence that suggests that downstream activities, not upstream, but customer-centric, not product brand-centric value chain activities tend to drive more value because they offer more insights. And so there is a model that we discussed, and actually you are doing for your milestone, is to look at where are the opportunities that exist in the industry in which you compete in your brand that can bring value, and can that value be sustained? Can it be defended? The other thing that I wanted to mention, and I'm going to send this along shortly after I post this video, is an article that talks, it's from Fast Company, that talks about something that we've kind of emphasized, that being the best trying to get as much market share as possible is the ultimate strategy and therefore goal. And it seems that much of the research rejects that, at least in what the numbers say. And it's more about being unique. It's more about being customer centric. It's more about listening. It's more about finding insights and then rallying and organizing and strategizing around that. And so this article I'm going to send is on best practices. It's a term that's used often in businesses, that we want to follow best practices. And it's basically kind of saying that that's not such a good idea sometimes, is to follow best practices, because again, what are you doing? You're imitating and you're copying, and that is a suggestion that we talked about, that Porter's research shows and others, that is not, in fact, that's strategy-free thinking. It's not a strategy. Imitation, copying best practices is making the assumption that your business model operates exactly like someone else's, and it's not looking for value in the chain. In fact, indeed, it is almost doing the opposite, and which really isn't much of a strategy. And so I'd like you to read that, and I'll post it and send it out in an email, but I'd like you to think about that and read it a little bit for our discussion as we move forward for this coming week. Remembering that this week we're going to look at another strategic scenario, and then we're also going to move forward on Porter's 5 forces model in terms of trying to find some better understanding of what this whole competition thing means, and when we're aligning and looking for some fit, some synergies between the marketplace opportunities, strategic windows, and what we actually do. So again, I hope these are helpful, and we will see you in several days, or tomorrow, I guess, was when this will end up getting posted. So thanks.